We can now go across to our European Affairs editor, Armen, Georgian, who's covering this latest EU summit for us. Armen, good afternoon. Donald Trump has flip-flopped so much over the past week. How is all of this being viewed where you are?
Well, of course, EU leaders are welcoming Donald Trump's decision to sanction these two oil firms, Lukoil and Rosneft. There's one leader here whose absence is very noticeable this morning, Delano, and that is the Hungarian Prime Minister, Viktor Orban. The decision by the Trump administration to apply those sanctions on Russian oil actually impact Hungary because it does use Russian energy, and for a long time Orban has been pushing back against EU efforts to squeeze Russian energy imports into the EU. And now Donald Trump, who's often billed as this great friend of Viktor Orban, is actually basically doing the same and going against Hungary's interests. Orban also being squeezed by the EU decision, in a sense, as you mentioned, that 19th package of sanctions on Russia going through without Viktor Orban. He's meant to turn up later, but I just mentioned this because often it's Orban who's putting pressure on EU leaders at these EU summits, and it seems to me that this time around it's Orban himself who's under pressure.
And Armin, we know that the EU has approved this 19th round of sanctions on Russia, but where is there any consensus when it comes to touching those frozen Russian assets held in the bloc?
Well, the European Commission put forward a proposal on that a while ago, which was to use a loan of 140 billion euros to help Ukraine. They are hoping, that's to say the European Commission, are hoping that EU leaders will give their blessing to that idea at this EU summit. But it's certainly not a done deal. We heard just a little bit earlier this morning from Bart de Wever, the Belgian Prime Minister, that it is an existential question for Belgium. And this is because Belgium actually has the financial body called Euroclear, which holds the assets that were immobilized. It actually holds the Russian assets. And Belgium, at the moment, it seems, is still not totally convinced that other EU countries will have its back if something goes wrong. Now, what could go wrong? Well, if, for example, Belgium is ordered by a court to repay that money because it's a lot of money, and Belgium is well aware that there could be legal action from Russia if these immobilized assets are actually seized and used to fund Ukraine. So at the moment, while we are hearing other EU leaders saying, yes, we do have Belgium's back, it seems that that is still going to be a subject of quite a lot of haggling throughout, or certainly at different points of the day. This promises to be a pretty long summit, Delano. There's a lot on the agenda. It's probably going to go quite late into the evening or night, and the question of Russian assets and Belgium's position is going to be, I think, pretty key.
We'll see what comes out of there. Thank you very much for that, Armen. Armen Georgian reporting there.